My greedy nephew demanded I co-sign a loan for his lavish lifestyle, scoffing. You have the money, so why not help? When I refused, he told the entire family I was selfish, and letting him struggle. But the moment the bank called to verify his application, I walked in with a fraud report, and as the loan was denied right in front of him, his confidence shattered instantly. Some context. I'm a 62-year-old man. Spent 35 years working HVAC around Chicago. I retired 2 years ago. I'm not rich, but I'm not hurting either. Paid off my mortgage. Got a reliable old Ford. Little pension, some savings, and social security. I'm not out here buying yachts, but I don't worry about bills. I don't have kids. My wife passed away 6 years ago. Cancer. Since then, I've mostly kept to myself. But I have a big family. Too big, honestly. Siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews. And apparently, I've become the family's go-to helper, because I'm the only one who saved money and didn't make reckless life choices. One of those reckless life choices? My nephew Mason. Who is Mason? Mason is my sister's only son. 26 years old. Grew up spoiled. Never had a real job. Lived in Naperville, Illinois. Got sent off to college in California, supposedly for business, but mostly spent it partying and skipping class. He dropped out after 2 years. Now he's back in Illinois calling himself an entrepreneur. In reality, he posts wannabe motivational videos on TikTok, drives a leased BMW he can't afford, and wears clothes worth more than my monthly groceries. He doesn't work. He says he's building a personal brand. He has no savings, no investments, no job, but somehow thinks he's too good for a 9-to-5. I've kept my distance. We're not close. We don't talk unless it's a family event, or he needs something. Guess what this time was? The visit. 3 months ago, on a rainy Thursday, he showed up at my front door. No warning. No call. Uncle Rob! He said, all smiles like we were best friends. Mind if I come in for a minute? He sat down, didn't ask, just walked in like he owned the place. I offered him coffee. He declined. Said he was on a juice cleanse. Whatever. Then he got to the point. He told me about a business opportunity he was working on. Said he needed a personal loan to help expand. He needed $45,000. But because of young credit and unfair banking systems, he couldn't get it alone. He needed a cosigner. He wanted me to be that cosigner. I asked what the loan was for. He got vague. Said it was branding, production, ad spend, plus an emergency fund. I pressed. He finally admitted part of it would go to pay off credit cards and lease payments. I told him no. Straight up, no emotion, just no. He looked confused. Like he didn't expect that. But you have the money, he said. It's not like you'd even notice it's gone. That one hit a nerve. I told him it wasn't about the money. It was about responsibility. I wasn't signing on to a loan I knew he wouldn't pay back. I'm not going to be left holding the bag when you flake. I told him. He got mad. Started pacing. Called me cold. Said I was turning my back on family. Said I was letting him struggle while I sat in my retirement palace. My house is a 2-bed ranch. Then he hit me with this. You never had kids. I'm the closest thing you've got. You're going to die with your money sitting in a bank? Might as well help someone now who actually needs it. I told him to leave. The smear campaign. 2 days later, my sister called. She was disappointed. Said Mason told her I had promised to help, then backed out. Apparently, he spun some story that I'd been excited to support him, then suddenly changed my mind. Out of spite. Then the calls started. One cousin called to say I was being too hard on the next generation. Another messaged me that Mason just needs someone to believe in him. One even accused me of hoarding money and acting better than everyone else. My own brother told me, it's just a signature, Rob. You've always been the practical one. Why not do a simple thing to help him get on his feet? I stayed quiet. I didn't argue. Didn't post anything in the group chat. Didn't defend myself. Let them talk. The phone call. 2 weeks later, I got a call while I was replacing a faucet in the laundry room. Unknown number. Hi, this is Jessica from US Bank. I'm calling to verify your intent to co-sign a personal loan application submitted by Mason, last name. I froze. I asked her to repeat it. She did. Are you confirming this is a valid application you've agreed to co-sign? She asked. No, I said. I absolutely did not agree to co-sign anything. She went quiet for a second. Are you saying this is a fraudulent application? Yes. I told her. I never gave him permission to use my name. I'd like to file a report. She gave me the branch address and scheduled me to come in the next morning. The bank meeting. I showed up at 9 a.m. sharp. I brought my ID, a copy of my signature from a notarized document, and a birthday card Mason sent me last year, because I had a feeling. At the branch, I met with the manager and a fraud specialist. They showed me the application. My name was typed. My signature was at the bottom. I looked at it closely. It was copied from that birthday card. He literally scanned it, pasted it onto the form, and submitted it like it was real. They were stunned. He submitted this through the online system. They told me, "With this, we have to open a fraud case immediately." I asked if I could be notified when they contacted him. I wanted to be there. They said they'd try. A week later, I got a call from the bank manager. Mason had scheduled a time to come in and finalize paperwork. They arranged for me to be there. I arrived early. Sat in the little conference room with glass walls. The fraud specialist and the manager were with me. I had the documents in front of me. Mason walked in 15 minutes late. Wore a fake designer jacket, Gucci belt, sunglasses on his head indoors. Walked in like he was the star of the show. Then he saw me. He stopped cold. His face went pale. Like ghost pale. He opened his mouth. I raised my hand. "Don't," I said. The bank manager spoke. Calm. Direct. "Mr. Last name, we've identified multiple discrepancies in your loan application. The co-signer you listed has confirmed he never agreed to this arrangement. Additionally, signature analysis shows clear signs of forgery." Mason looked like he might throw up. He tried to say it was a misunderstanding. That I'd verbally agreed. And maybe I forgot. I let the manager handle it. Due to the fraudulent nature of the application, it's been denied. The case has been escalated to our legal department. You may be contacted regarding further investigation. Mason's mouth was hanging open. Then he looked at me. "Why are you doing this to me?" he said. I didn't answer. When I left that bank meeting, I was calm on the outside, but my blood was boiling. Mason hadn't just tried to use me, he had committed fraud, and then looked me in the eye like I was the one betraying him. I didn't say a word as he sat there stammering excuses. Didn't need to. Watching his face crumble when they denied the loan and said the legal team was involved? That was enough. But I thought that would be it. I thought after that humiliation, he'd stay quiet. Maybe even apologize. I was wrong. 3 days later, I got a call from my sister. She was yelling. Not crying. Not apologizing. Not even asking questions. Yelling. "You ambushed my son! You humiliated him in front of strangers! What kind of uncle does that?" I said. "He committed fraud." She actually said this. "He's young. He made a mistake. You're making it worse." Worse? He tried to scam $45,000 in my name. Forged my signature. Lied to a federal institution. And I was making it worse? She wasn't alone either. My phone blew up the next 2 days. Messages from cousins, extended family, even her husband. "He just needs a second chance. Rob, you're blowing this out of proportion. Don't ruin his life over one mistake." And then, I got the voicemail. That voicemail changed everything. It was Mason. Drunk, or pretending to be. He slurred into the phone, and I saved the recording because I knew I'd need it. "You think you're safe, Uncle Rob? You think this is over? I'm not gonna forget this. I've got people on my side. You're not the only one who can play games. You should have just signed the paper. You'll regret this." Threat. Plain and simple. I took the audio straight to the police station. I wasn't planning to involve them at first. But that crossed the line. The officer at the desk took my statement, logged the voicemail, and added it to the existing fraud case the bank had opened. "You did the right thing," the officer told me. "Keep everything. Don't delete a thing." That night, I changed every password. Froze my credit. Installed cameras around the house. I've lived alone for years and never felt unsafe. But now? I couldn't shake the feeling that Mason might try something stupid. And then it got weirder. The next morning, I found a small package on my front porch. No return address. Just a box taped shut. I brought it inside, opened it carefully. Inside? A dead bird. Wrapped in a designer t-shirt. The tag still on it, Gucci. I couldn't make this up if I tried. My hands shook. Not from fear, from rage. This punk, this spoiled brat, was playing games like he was in a movie. A dead bird? What did that even mean? Was he trying to scare me? Threaten me? Mock me? I called the police again. They came out, took photos, took the box, and filed it under suspected intimidation. Still not enough for an arrest, but it painted a very clear picture. This wasn't about a loan anymore. This was about ego. He felt embarrassed, and now he wanted revenge. But here's where things turned. While I was talking to the officer outside, a neighbor walked over. Ms. Harrow lives 2 doors down. Retired teacher. She said she saw someone come onto my porch at 3 a.m. Skinny guy. Hoodie. Drove off in a white BMW. Guess who drives a white BMW? I passed the info on to the police. They nodded, said it helped build a pattern. Still, they couldn't make a move unless Mason did something more direct. The voicemail was borderline. The bird? Creepy but not illegal on its own. But the officer gave me some advice. Start a paper trail. Start a timeline. If anything else happens, write it down. Dates, times, everything. So I did. I got a notebook. Started writing every little thing down. Any calls. Any messages. Who I saw driving by. I wasn't paranoid, I was prepared. And just as I started documenting, things got worse. My mail started arriving opened. My trash can was knocked over 3 times in 1 week. Someone sprayed something on my front door, sticky, smelly, like cheap perfume mixed with gasoline. I checked my security footage. One of the cameras had been ripped off the wall. Again, police came. Again, no solid proof it was Mason, but it was adding up. And then the twist I didn't expect, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. It was an apology. Not from Mason. From his girlfriend. Or maybe ex-girlfriend, I'm not sure. Her name was Layla. She wrote a short letter saying she didn't know what Mason was doing behind the scenes, but she had started noticing strange things too. Said he was obsessed with getting back at me. Said he was spiraling. Then she wrote this line, and I'll never forget it. He's not just angry you said no. He's angry you exposed him. He doesn't know how to handle being embarrassed. Be careful. I still have the letter. So now I've got a voicemail threat. A dead bird in a luxury shirt. Camera damage. Open mail. A neighbor witness. An ex-girlfriend warning me. And yet, he still thinks he can get away with it. The bank's fraud department has escalated things to their legal team. The police now have 5 open reports connected to him. And I'm waiting. I'm not rushing anything. Because every time he acts out of spite, every time he plays another game, I just write it down, report it, and smile. He thinks I'm playing defense. He doesn't know I'm building the case. No ending yet. But I can feel it coming. And when it hits, it's going to hit hard. After that letter from Layla, I started to understand something. This wasn't just about a failed loan or family embarrassment. Mason was unraveling. And he wanted someone to blame. That someone was me. What Layla said stuck with me. He wasn't angry I said no, he was angry I exposed him. He thought I'd roll over like everyone else in the family. He thought I was just some quiet old man with money and no spine. He really had no idea who he was messing with. About a week later, I was pulling into my driveway after running errands when I noticed something weird. There was a sticky note on my door. It just said, "You think this is over?" I checked the cameras. All of them were offline. Not just disconnected, wiped. Like someone had taken a magnet or something to the DVR. Static. Blank. I called the police again. Officer came out, took the note, checked the system. Said it looked like intentional tampering. But again, no fingerprints, no camera footage, no witnesses. Just more intimidation. I added it to the timeline. That same night, I got a call from the bank's legal team. They said they had completed their internal investigation and would be handing the case over to federal authorities for bank fraud and possible identity theft. Apparently, Mason had used my name to try and apply at 2 more institutions before the bank caught on and flagged him in a shared database. I asked for details. They couldn't give me much, but they said, "It's bigger than we thought. You're not the only one he used." That hit me like a truck. I thought he only tried to use me. Turns out, he used my name, but also tried using Layla's parents, a former roommate, and even submitted a fake tax return under his mom's info to boost his income verification. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a pattern. The legal team told me they'd submitted the file to a federal fraud unit. Said I might be contacted to testify or provide a full statement if it moved forward. This was serious now. But Mason? Still acting like nothing was happening. Still posting shirtless TikToks. Still uploading fake grind-set videos. Still driving that BMW around like a celebrity. And then another twist hit. One of the cousins who'd originally called me selfish. Let's call her Danielle. She called again, but this time she was crying. She said she tried to help Mason behind the scenes a few weeks earlier. Gave him a $5,000 loan to help keep him afloat. He told her it was for legal fees. 4. A misunderstanding with a business partner. Told her he'd pay her back in 2 weeks. Not only did he not pay her back, she found out he used the money to pay off the lease on his BMW so it wouldn't get repossessed. She was furious. She said he blocked her after she asked for the money back. Just cut her off. And now she believed everything I'd said. Danielle then told me something that made me feel sick. He's saying you're losing your mind. That you're paranoid. That you're making stuff up because you're old and alone. He was actively trying to discredit me before I could do more damage to him. I thanked her for telling me. Told her to write everything down. Save the texts. Protect herself. Then I hung up and sat in silence for a while. It clicked. That's why my cameras were destroyed. That's why he left that note. That's why he sent the voicemail. He was trying to create a story that I was unstable. That I was spiraling. That I was retaliating against him. He wasn't just reacting anymore, he was planning. He wanted to make it look like I was the one harassing him. And you know what? It almost worked. 2 days later, I got a letter from a lawyer. A small firm out of Chicago. Mason had filed for a restraining order. Claimed I'd been stalking him. Showing up outside his apartment. Sending threatening letters. Damaging his car. All fake. Every word. I handed the letter over to the police and gave them a copy of my security reports, my timeline notebook, even Layla's warning letter. The officer said, "This isn't just fraud anymore. This is shaping into full-blown criminal behavior." But the court still had to hear it. So I showed up. I brought everything. Mason showed up with his hair slicked back and wore some flashy suit, like he was auditioning for a Netflix series. He had fake tears ready. Told the judge I was mentally unstable. That I'd snapped, after he turned down my financial help. He even said I once threw a wrench at him during a holiday dinner. Which never happened. I sat there silent until it was my turn. Then I spoke clearly. Slowly. I handed over the voicemail. The letter from Layla. Danielle's loan screenshot and text messages. A statement from the bank confirming the fraud. My police reports. My security logs. When I finished, Mason's face had gone blank. The judge looked at him and said, "I suggest you withdraw this petition. You're bordering on perjury." Mason stood up and walked out without a word. The restraining order was denied. But I wasn't done. That same day, I contacted a civil attorney. I'm not just playing defense anymore. I'm going on the offense now. Still no ending. But I promise you this, the next time Mason hears my name, it'll be from a courtroom clerk. Not from someone he can manipulate. Not from a family member he can guilt-trip. And not from someone he thought was too old to fight back. After the restraining order attempt failed, Mason went quiet. I thought maybe, finally, he got the message. Maybe he realized he'd crossed the line too many times. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, I got a message from my cousin Victor, the oldest cousin, the one everyone kind of sees as the unofficial patriarch, now that the elders are gone. He invited me to a family barbecue. Said, "Let's clear the air." I asked who was going. He said everyone. Including Mason. I almost didn't go. But part of me needed to. I didn't want fake closure. I wanted the truth out loud. So I went. It was held at Victor's place. Big backyard. He's got one of those brick grills and the whole setup, folding tables, coolers, all that. I showed up with a 6-pack and some potato salad. Sat near the back. The tension? Thick. I could feel the whispers before I even finished saying hello to people. Mason wasn't there yet. But my sister was. She gave me a weak smile, like she wanted to say something but didn't have the courage. Then he showed up. Mason walked in like nothing had happened. Designer sunglasses, holding his phone like he was live streaming, probably was, wearing a tight black shirt like he was about to perform at Coachella. He saw me. Smirked. Walked right past me. That was it. I stood up. Calm. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't plan anything, actually. But it just came out. Loud enough for the whole yard to hear. "Why don't you tell them what you did, Mason?" The music stopped. Conversations froze. Everyone turned. He laughed. "Oh, here we go again." I took a step forward. No. This time, we go all the way. I pulled out the printed documents from my folder. Held them up. This is the loan you tried to co-sign under my name. Forged my signature. The bank has it under active fraud investigation. People started murmuring. I held up the letter from Layla. This is from your ex, warning me about you spiraling and trying to destroy people who told you no. Then I turned to the crowd. He filed a fake restraining order against me. Sent a dead bird to my door. Ripped down my cameras. Spread lies. Used Danielle for money. Danielle, sitting nearby, turned red and looked down. She didn't deny it. Victor stepped forward. Mason, is any of this true? Mason's face changed. No smirk. No cool attitude. Just panic. They're lying. He's twisting everything. He's just bitter. He hates me because I'm not boring like him. I didn't even respond. Danielle stood up next. You told me it was for legal help. I gave you $5,000. You disappeared. You never even said thank you. Then Victor, calm, older Victor, said the quiet part out loud. You used this family, Mason. Silence. Mason cracked. I didn't use anyone. I needed help. That's what family is supposed to be. You all act like I'm the screw-up, but you never supported me. Uncle Rob never cared. He's always been cold. He turned to me, eyes red. You could have helped me. You had the money. You let me drown instead. I stared right at him. I didn't let you drown, Mason. You walked into the ocean with pockets full of stones and begged me to dive in after you. People were quiet. My sister tried to speak, but nothing came out. Then Mason did something I didn't expect. He started crying. Not loud. Not fake. Real. I just wanted to make something of myself. And for a second I felt it. That old pull. That pity. But I couldn't afford to hold onto it anymore. Then you should have tried honestly. Not by stealing, not by lying. I wanted to help you. But not like this. He looked down. No one moved. Nobody hugged him. Nobody came to his defense. Eventually he walked out. Not a word. Just gone. People stood around awkwardly. Some avoided my eye. Some offered quiet apologies. Danielle came over and said, I should have believed you. I'm sorry. Victor clapped me on the back. You did the right thing, Rob. My sister? She just stood there, arms folded. She didn't say anything. Not even then. And that hurt more than anything Mason ever did. I went home. Sat in my kitchen. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel victorious. It felt tired. I wasn't angry anymore. Just drained. 30 years of being the quiet, reliable uncle. And the one time I said no, I became the enemy. I don't regret what I did. But I regret what it cost. Mason hasn't reached out. The fraud case is still in progress. I've given my full statements. The feds are moving slow, but they're moving. The family? Quiet. The group chat dried up. Birthdays came and went with no messages. Only a couple cousins still talk to me regularly. Victor sent me a card last week. Said I was the kind of man this family needs more of. That meant something. As for my sister? Haven't heard from her. Maybe I never will. If you're the one who always keeps the peace, people will assume you'll never break. They'll mistake your silence for approval. Your kindness for weakness. And when you finally stand up, when you finally say, enough, they'll act like you're the villain. Let them. Because there's peace and truth. Even if it's a lonely kind. And me? I'm okay with being alone. Because I'd rather be alone with my integrity than surrounded by liars who call it love.